ahorita. Fácil. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, the meeting is called to order. We will now consider agenda item 3 on the theme of 82nd session, Leaving No One Behind, Advancing a Society for All Ages in Asia and the Pacific. The document pertaining to this agenda item is ESCAP /82/4, which contains the summary of the theme study on Leaving No One Behind, Advancing a Society for All Ages in Asia and Pacific. The Commission's consideration of this agenda item will begin with the presentation of the findings of the theme study. This will be followed by a high-level roundtable that will offer perspectives on key issues critical to promoting a society for all ages in Asia and the Pacific. I will then open the floor for country interventions under the agenda item. I would like to invite Her Excellency, Executive Secretary Ms. Armida Salcia Al-Zabana, to present the findings of the theme study. May I now ask the conference room officer to play the video presentation of the findings of the theme study of the Executive Secretary, Ms. Armida Salcia Ali Zabana. Thank you.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, Asia and the Pacific is getting old. By 2050, there will be nearly 1 billion older persons, people over the age of 65, almost double what it was in 2025. At the same time, Asia and the Pacific remains quite young. The region is home to 56% of the global population of youth between the ages of 15 to 24 years. The shift from young to old is not uniform across the region, however, as some subregions are still in the early stages of this demographic transition. Population aging is fundamentally a reflection of progress. It is the result of decades of advances in public health, medical care, education, and poverty alleviation that have enabled people to live longer and healthier lives. For the first time, children, young and working age people, and older persons are sharing longer periods of life together. This provides an opportunity for continued contribution and knowledge exchange across generations, strengthening intergenerational solidarity. However, given the speed of demographic shifts in Asia and the Pacific, countries have little time to implement or adjust existing policies and programs to address related challenges. Across our region, many older persons spend years in less than full health, increasing demand for long-term care and accessible services. Unemployment affects young people, especially women. The rapid digitalization and emergence of AI provide new challenges for the creation of decent work and employment. Women also shoulder a disproportionate share of unpaid care and domestic work, participate in labor markets at much lower rates than men, and continue to face structural barriers that limit their access to decent work, entrepreneurship, and adequate social protections throughout their lives. Persons with disabilities participate in labor markets at less than half the rate of those without, and as population age, gaps in accessibility, inclusion, and support systems become even more pronounced. Demographic transition, along with other megatrends such as climate change and digital transformation, is profoundly reshaping economies and societies, challenging traditional economic growth models, social cohesion, and care system. In the theme study, we identified actions required to respond proactively to demographic change. First, we must shape the future of work across generations, by fostering labor markets that enable decent, productive, and inclusive employment for people of all ages, particularly young people, while ensuring a just transition toward green and blue economies. We also must promote healthy and active aging by strengthening healthcare, pension, and lifelong learning systems over the life course so that longevity gains benefit all. We must add life to years rather than just adding years to life. Third, women's economic empowerment must be at the center of our responses. By removing structural barriers to women's participation in the formal labor market and by valuing unpaid care and domestic work across the life course, turning these directions into impact requires coordinated action with integrated approaches that cut across sectors and policy domains. To advance a society for all ages, we propose three interconnected areas of policy action: transform economies and labor markets to safeguard the right to decent work for all, regardless of age, gender, or disability; extend social protection and invest in lifelong learning and the reskilling of youth and just transitions; build inclusive societies through universal social protection, health coverage, and integrated care systems, alongside women's empowerment, digital inclusion, and accessibility for all to strengthen dignity, resilience, and intergenerational solidarity. Strengthen regional cooperation and partnership by facilitating portable social protection and safe labor mobility, expanding knowledge exchange and communities of practice, and mobilizing regional partnership and financing to accelerate progress across Asia and the Pacific. These policy directions must be supported by the right enabling environment. Progress will depend not only on policy ambition, but on institutional coherence and sustained investment. This means strengthening integrated data systems to inform evidence-based decision across the life course, embedding demographic and gender perspective in governance, planning, and budgeting processes, and ensuring sustainable financing to expand fiscal space. With foresight and collective resolve, by putting people at the center of development, we will be able to create an inclusive, sustainable, and equitable future for all. The time for action is now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Madam Executive Secretary, for the presentation. I now invite Ms. Lin Yang, Deputy Executive Secretary for Program of ESCAP, to moderate this high-level roundtable, leaving no behind, advancing a society for all ages in Asia and the Pacific. Ms. Lin, I am pleased to hand over the floor to you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. And I don't know if our panelists need to prepare your water, just to give you 10 seconds to get the water prepared. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to moderate this high-level roundtable on the theme of the 82nd session of the Commission, Leaving No One Behind, Advancing a Society for All Ages in Asia and the Pacific. Our Executive Secretary has just presented the main findings of the theme study, which calls for a people-centered approach to inclusive and sustainable development. Give me one moment to show again our theme study this year. Demographic change is a defining megatrend of our time. The transition from a high fertility and mortality to longer lives and smaller families has been particularly rapid in our region. This transformation carries profound implications for economies, labor markets, health system, care systems, and social cohesion. Today, we have the great honor and the privilege to hear from a very distinguished panel. Each panelist will offer a 5-minute intervention to share their country's experience and the policy perspectives. Following their intervention, I will invite our panelists to share one key policy takeaway for our region before offering a brief summary. So without further ado, allow me to introduce our distinguished panelist. Her Excellency, Mr. Fain Fatou Feitu Athey, the Minister of Internal Affairs of Tonga. His Excellency, Mr. Upali Panilagan, Minister of Rural Development, Social Security and Community Empowerment of Sri Lanka. His Excellency, Mr. Yalchin Rafiyev, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Azerbaijan. His Excellency, Mr. Alexander Alimov, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation. So now I would like to invite Your Excellency, Minister Fatou Athey, to take the floor. So my question to you, Your Excellency, is Pacific Island countries face unique vulnerability from the combined effects of climate change and the demographic shift. How is Tonga strengthening community-based care systems for older persons, empowering youth employment, and building climate resilience to advance a society for all? The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Your Excellencies, Malolele from the Kingdom of Tonga. Tonga reaffirms its unwavering commitment to the priority theme of the 82nd session of ESCAP. Pacific Island countries like Tonga face unique and compounding vulnerabilities from climate change and demographic shift. Tonga is consistently ranked among the most vulnerable countries in the world, including among the top 3 in the World Risk Index. Our response is to take an integrated and people-centered approach that will bring together climate resilience, care for older persons, and youth employment to advance a true society for all ages. The compounded impacts of the 2022 Hunga Ha'apai volcanic eruption and tsunami, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the disruption of international communications marked a critical turning point in Tonga's socio-economic and resilience pathways. First, on climate resilience, through national frameworks such as the Joint National Action Plan on Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management, JNAP2 2018 to 2028, the Nationally Determined Contributions, NDC, under the Paris Agreement, as well as the Tonga Climate Change Policy 2016 and the Multi-Hazard Early Warning System Policy 2024 to 2030, we are strengthening inclusive and people-centered disaster preparedness. This is further guided by the Disaster Risk Management Act 2021 and the National Disaster Risk Management Policy 2023 to 2030, which provide the legal and policy framework for coordinated and inclusive disaster response. This means ensuring that early warning systems, evacuation planning, and community response mechanisms are not only in place, but are accessible, understood, and actionable for everyone. We are prioritizing those most at risk, particularly older persons, persons with disabilities, women, youth, and communities in remote and outer islands, ensuring that no one is left behind in preparedness and response. We are strengthening last mile delivery through district and town offices, community networks, and church systems so that warnings are not only issued but understood and acted upon. At the same time, we are strengthening community based preparedness through village disaster committees, ensuring that resilience is built at the local level. Our development priorities, both nationally and among partners, have increasingly aligned with climate sustainability and inclusive governance. Second, on care for older persons. We recognize that climate shocks place additional pressures on families and care systems. Tonga is strengthening this through initiatives such as the Integrated Aged Care Project, which promote home and community-based care, support caregivers, and is working towards national standards for aged care services. Our current social protection system also play a key role in supporting older persons to cope with climate and economic shocks, ensuring dignity, safety, and well-being. Third, on youth employment and empowerment. Tonga recognizes that with around 31% of our population being youth, they are not just beneficiaries, but key drivers of resilience. Through our National Youth Policy 2026 to 2030, that was recently launched a few weeks ago, we are focused on building a generation that is resilient, responsible, and actively engaged. This works hand in hand with Tonga's Arise 2050 program, Advanced Resilience Innovative Solutions for Emerging Leaders to strengthen leadership and participation, particularly among youth. We are investing in youth employment and entrepreneurship, including linking skills development to climate action and care services. For example, aged care training programs are equipping young people with practical skills, creating employment opportunities while strengthening community care systems. What connects these three areas is an intergenerational approach. We are promoting programs where youth and older persons engage through shared activities, knowledge exchange, and mutual support. This strengthens social cohesion, preserves traditional knowledge, and builds resilience amongst generations. In this way, Tonga is addressing climate change not only as an environmental issue, but as a human and social issue. By connecting climate resilience, care systems, and youth empowerment, we are working towards a society where all ages are supported, valued, and able to contribute, advancing to a more equitable, inclusive, and sustainable future for all. Malo Apito.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Minister Fatuake, for sharing this very impressive country level experience in addressing the climate change and also manage the community based care system, as well as how to improve and provide youth with more job opportunities. So, and your emphasis on strengthening the intergenerational relationship and the social protection system is really well taken. As highlighted in the theme study, more people of different generations will be coexisting for longer periods of time. This is very unique in our region. This provides an opportunity for strengthening this intergenerational bonds and the productivity. And let me now invite Minister Panilage from Sri Lanka to share your insights. Your Excellency, Sri Lanka is experiencing rapid population aging. Many of the older persons, in particular women, remain in rural areas, often left behind due to shrinking family sizes and younger people moving to cities and or other countries. I think it's not only in Sri Lanka, in many countries in our region, it's taking place at the same time. Sri Lanka has pioneered various initiatives, such as implementing the Smart Villages program, upgrading social security for informal workers, and setting up daycare centers for seniors. Based on this experience, how is Sri Lanka advising societies for all ages? What are good practices, in particular in rural and urban areas? And what are the remaining challenges? So basically, I have three questions to answer. The floor is yours, Excellency.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Chairperson, forwarding this, such a more relevant question to Sri Lanka, as we are one of the fastest aging societies in South Asia. In 1953, only 6% of Sri Lankan population was aged 60 years and above. Today, that figure has risen to approximately 18%, and it's projected to reach 25% by 2040. Our elderly population currently stand at around 3.9 million out of 22 million total population of the country, with life expectancy at birth average 77 years, 74 years for men and 80 years for women. While this reflects significant progress in human development, it also presents complex socio-economic and institutional challenges. These challenges are particularly relevant in rural areas where 80% of our population lives, where many older persons, especially women, remain as younger generations migrate to cities or overseas. Sri Lankan's approach is guided by a strong commitment to inclusive development and social protection. We recognize that population aging should not be seen as a burden, but as an opportunity to build resilient, inclusive, and intergenerational societies. First, Sri Lanka has strengthened income security and social protection for older persons. A monthly allowance is provided to low-income older persons, currently supporting around 1 million individuals under this scheme. Public sector pension benefits received by around 700,000 individuals, where we have around 1.3 million public sector workers. While efforts are underway to expand social security coverage for workers in the informal economy as well. In addition, livelihood grants are provided to support self-employment among older persons, particularly in rural communities. Second, we have invested in accessible and universal health care. Sri Lanka provides free health services across the country, complemented by targeted financial assistance for older persons requiring treatment for non-communicable diseases. Recognizing the growing need for long-term care, we are developing a comprehensive system covering home or the family-based care, community-based care services, daycare centers, and residential or institutional care facilities. Third, Sri Lanka is promoting active aging and community participation. We support the formation of elder societies, facilitate social and cultural engagement, including intergenerational communities. Our smart village concept integrates digital connectivity, community-based services, and inclusive infrastructure to ensure that older persons in rural areas remain socially and economically connected. Fourth, we have strengthened our policy and legal framework. Sri Lanka recently, last year actually, adopted a national policy on older persons, focusing on health and well-being, financial security, and social participation, long-term care, enabling environment and emergency preparedness. This policy promotes a life course approach and emphasizes dignity, independence, and inclusion. Despite this progress, challenges remain. Rapid demographic change places pressure on public finance. long-term care systems, and social protection mechanisms. Rural aging, migration of younger population, and gender disparities among older persons require targeted responses. Expanding coverage for informal workers and developing sustainable financing for long-term care remain a key priority. In moving forward, Sri Lanka believes that advancing societies for all ages requires integrated, people-centered approaches. We must invest in age-friendly communities, strengthen social protection systems, and harness the contributions of older persons to economic and social development. Regional cooperation is essential. Platforms such as ESCAP can support knowledge sharing, technical cooperation, and innovative financing solutions to help countries address aging in a comprehensive manner. Sri Lanka stands ready to collaborate with member states to ensure that longer lives translate into better lives for all. Let me conclude by emphasizing that population aging is not simply a demographic trend. It is a development reality that calls for solidarity across generations. By working together, we can ensure that no one, young or old, is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Minister Panilage. And I hear from your intervention and two very strong messages. You mentioned this multi-dimensional feature of aging issue, right? You talk about it's not only a demographic issue, it's also an economic, it's a social, also environmental issue. And also, another strong message emerged from your intervention. You highlighted that aging should not be seen as a burden, right? It should be seen as an opportunity. So, our analysis and data shows that by 2050, 1 out of 5 people will be already the older person. I believe the majority of the participants in this room by 2050 will become part of this one instead of the rest of four. So, and we need to look at the the positive side. We should be proud of the achievements we made so far in this region. And in the very end, you talk about the importance of regional cooperation. I think that gives me a very perfect setting to move to our next speaker, and Deputy Minister Rafiev, and to ask you the question, both from the national perspective and the regional perspective. How is Azerbaijan addressing the challenges and the opportunities of demographic change and the population aging in your national development strategies? And what role does regional cooperation play in these efforts? The floor is yours, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Deputy Executive Secretary. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all. I also welcome fellow panelists. I think we have started quite extensive already discussions, and it was also very interesting for me to learn the experiences of Tonga and Sri Lanka in this case, and I absolutely share the assessment of my colleagues that this is the topic that we are discussing is not only about the issue of welfare of the population, the trends that we are observing, but it's part of our development strategies. And in Azerbaijan as well, the demographic transition, demographic change is part of our national development strategy of 2030 that is closely linked to human capital, social justice, balanced regional development, and national resilience. And we believe that the development must serve people through different angles. And our main task that is before the government of Azerbaijan is to turn the economic development capital into human capital through investing not only in growth, but in also people's capabilities, dignity, and opportunity. First, in this regard, we are making the government, the public services, to be as less distant as possible to the people through different innovative ideas. Like we have Asan service and DOST models Both of them are considered to be innovative Azerbaijani brands of public service delivery by minimizing human-to-human contact, application of technological innovations in order to bring together hundreds of public services under one roof, so that the people can feel the difference of previous bureaucratic procedures of accessing to public services and having a more robust and easy system that ensures that the people have easier access now to the public services. According to statistics, the Asan service centers that offer all types of public services under one roof has been appealed 74 million times by citizens in the past more than 10 years, and the satisfaction rate is about 99.8%. And the 0.2 is usually the people who are not satisfied with anything in their life. And those services that are usually offering public services for people with disabilities, for older persons, they are also offering different type of social services, and they have been appealed about 3 million times in the past few years, and the satisfaction rate is about 98%. So it's not only an issue of facilitating access to the people, but also making sure that they feel included. So this is one of the measures to make the people feel them included in the society. The second important element is healthcare. Azerbaijan is, for the moment, applying a mandatory health insurance system for the citizens, and so far, only last year, 5.4 million people, so 54% of the population has used this mandatory healthcare insurance, and that also affected the life expectancy. Now, life expectancy in Azerbaijan is about 77 years. That is in comparison with previous years more, meaning that while government is interfering with helping the people in getting necessary healthcare services, definitely also impact their life expectancy. Third, we are also approaching the demographic transition issues through skills development and labor market perspective. The National Development Strategy explicitly emphasized that life learning and competitive human capital is an asset for the government for future. We have a state program of 2022-2026 that ensures that 400 young people every year gets a scholarship from the government to study at the top ranking universities around the world. So investing in human capital in this regard would be definitely important. And here would like to give another important statistics that the woman participation in this regard is quite important. And because of all the government efforts so far, women for the moment account 48.1% of the total employed, and the labor force participation of women is 68.1% in comparison with 68.8% of the men. So in terms of the general balance of women within the society, we have perfect balance of 50 to 50%. And in terms of labor participation, labor market participation, this also is being ensured in the same way. And we are also investing for the future for a mobile and skills-based regional labor market in Azerbaijan. The fourth, for us, demographic policy is also a territorial matter. So having a regional balance among the population is very important. And for the moment, according to latest statistics, 54% of the population is living in urban areas, while 45.6% is living in rural areas. This is also in comparison with other parts of the neighborhood geography, is a perfect balance to make sure that the people are equally dispersed across the country. Regional cooperation, you mentioned, Madam Deputy Executive Secretary, is essential in this effort. As a landlocked country and a connectivity hub, Azerbaijan sees demographic adaptation not only through welfare policy, but also through mobility, jobs, and access. And on the SPECA and other regional formats that we have developed together with ESCAP and UNECE, we believe that three areas deserve more attention. First, exchange of practical experience on active aging, digital inclusion, and care systems. Second, stronger cooperation on skills, qualifications, and labor market needs. And the third, better use of connectivity to widen opportunity beyond capitals and major urban centers. And for us, connectivity is not only about transport, it's also about reducing territorial inequality. So I think this session and the chairmanship of Azerbaijan for the upcoming year also will create sufficient opportunities for us to share our experience, national experience, and to make sure that the regional cooperation is benefiting, all of us are benefiting from the regional cooperation that the UNESCO platform is offering. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I believe the audience share the same feeling as me. We heard a lot of numbers and the data and from your intervention. So I think even without saying it in such an explicit manner, right, you already highlighted the importance of disaggregated and timely data to support and the policy making and the decisions. And before I move into our last panelist, let me have one reflection moment to see what we have discussed so far. So we talk about this intergenerational relationship and in addressing this climate resilience, care system, and youth employment. We talk about the integrated policy making, integrated importance of the integrated policy framework to support and to establish a society for all ages. We also talk about in your intervention by Deputy Minister of Azerbaijan about the importance of timely public service delivery and about the health system and the labor market participation. And I think across all the previous speakers, we hear the very, very loud and clear message and the keyword of active aging, active aging. So in your last intervention, you mentioned about the regional cooperation. With all of those reflections, I think we are very good to move to our last speaker because with all of this data, importance, intergenerational framework, and the labor market participation, integrated policy support, we need institutions. We need to have effective national institutions established to implement all of those concept framework. And so also at the regional level, we also need to hear from you and what are your recommendations to advance a society for all from all those perspectives. So let me move to our last speaker, Deputy Minister Alimov. And what policies and institutional arrangements and the mechanisms has the Russian Federation developed to extend working lives, support intergenerational knowledge transfer, and strengthen social protection system, including pension coverage, in the context of a rapidly aging population? What's your recommendation for regional cooperation? Over to you.
Thank you. It's on, right? Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Madam Moderator. Let me start by warmly welcoming the introductory statement by Madam Executive Secretary. Actually, every single line of her statement can be echoed and supported, and that was done by my colleagues, panelists, and it's a hard job to be a finisher in this highly qualified quartet, but I'll try to do my best and to be helpful as well. Let me join my voice in supporting the extreme relevance of this theme. We fully acknowledge the problem of aging population in my country, in the Russian Federation, and ensure that effective and inclusive social policy remain among the government's top priorities. In recent years, we have developed efficient institutional mechanisms to support the older generation and promote their well-being. Those are deployed under the so-called national projects. These are large-scale, multi-sectorial government programs aimed at ensuring balanced development of the society. They are very well financed, and they are under personal control of our president. Among these are the family, infrastructure for life, long and active life, and last year we also adopted the action strategy for senior citizens until 2030, with the aim of increasing the life expectancy and quality of life of older people in my country, in Russia. We are also implementing a range of targeted initiatives for our senior citizens. One encouraging example is the Active Longevity Program, which was initiated within the framework of the Family National Project. By the end of last year, almost 15 million of Russian older persons were participating in the program. They start by choosing a variety of sports, cultural and leisure activities, educational courses and volunteering opportunities, and then engage in specially tailored activities in the public spaces and city recreational areas. As a Moscow dweller, I'm very inspired to see a lot of older people in city parks dancing tango or doing Pilates, or so leaves you no excuse not going to gym. Thanks to the active implementation of this program, the number of older people exercising regularly has increased 8-fold since 2016. Now, acquiring new skills is another important part of the program. We put premium on increasing digital literacy of our senior citizens, helping them not only to become computer or mobile phone literate, but also encouraging them to actively use these new skills in areas such as blogging or programming. The coolest thing you can imagine, an older gray-haired grandma being on good terms with her cell phone, doing shopping or financing, managing her finances or sending messages to her kids or grandkids, the coolest thing. And here, these programs here, they facilitate the transfer of knowledge from younger to older generation. So it's generation interconnectedness moving up from youngsters to the older people, which is a very important aspect of that. Volunteering programs provide excellent opportunity for our senior citizens to share their vast wisdom and experience with young people. We call them silver volunteers. I guess that's not only in Russia, it's called that way, silver volunteers. And they are engaged in environmental projects, mentoring and helping socially vulnerable groups. Now, social services are also very important. It was highlighted before. We are actively developing a long-term care system for older people and people with disabilities who need care. And this system aims to providing comprehensive services to citizens who lack self-care skills and their relatives in accordance with their needs. The introduction of the long-term care system has had many positive effects. More than 800 so-called schools of care have been set up to train those who provide long-term care, and plenty of additional jobs have been created, including for thousands of previously unemployed relatives who care for all the citizens and people with disabilities. Given the aging population, it is important to pay particular attention to those approaching retirement age. Since 2019, Russia has introduced a special category of pre-retirees. That means 5 years before retirement. Pre-retirees are entitled to individual social support measures and can participate in employment support programs. The number of older citizens who have completed these programs has increased 9-fold since introduction of this program in 2019. In terms of pension coverage, which is also important, we are constantly working on improving our pension system. In light of ongoing demographic trends, pension indexation is carried out regularly, including for working pensioners. When calculating indexation, we take the inflation rate into account. For instance, in 2024, the insurance pensions of working and non-working citizens alike were increased by close to 10%. And in 2025, indexation exceeded actual inflation amounting to 7.6%. So let me conclude by highlighting and strengthening once again the need to strengthen intergenerational ties, which is extremely important for maintaining societal stability and accumulating human and social capital, preserving tradition and culture. And therefore, we should all aim to foster a respectful and caring attitude towards the older generation, helping them to share their wisdom with the youngsters and vice versa, providing them with up-to-date knowledge that help them to be not a burden, but for them to create more opportunities. I'm an aging, close to retirement age sometime, and I don't want to be a burden. I want to have more opportunities when I do retire. So with that, I guess I will finish my points.
Thank you so much for your very insightful intervention. I believe that you depicted as a very, very positive picture. And you talk about the gym. And actually, I have to admit that when we were in Doha last year in the World Social Summit, many sessions talk about the aging issue. And the one challenge to the active aging, indeed, as you mentioned, is this mental health. So I believe many older person, they feel the loneliness, and they also feel that they are not needed by the society, and their wisdom is not recognized nowadays in a more digitally, rapidly developed world. So those are the challenges we are facing by the society. But we are very glad to hear that you give us a very, very dynamic picture, and including the gyms, sports activities, culture activities, as well as the silver volunteers, and that means the potential opportunities for the older person to participate in the labor market. Really appreciate that, and let us getting old together in a positive manner. So let me pose one common question to all of you. This is the final question, and I believe we want some takeaways for all the panelists. So drawing on the theme studies call for integrated, people-centered responses to demographic change, what is the single most important policy action your country or organization, actually country, would recommend to the region to ensure that the benefits of longer lives and the changing age structures are shared by all, and how can regional organizations such as ESCAP support you in this endeavor? It is indeed a quite long question, but I don't know whether it can sum it up in one policy takeaway. Feel free to break down if you have a few elements under this one policy takeaway. And let me start. Maybe I will take a reversed order. Ask Deputy Minister Alimov and to share your insights with the audience first. The floor is yours, Excellency.
Well, you rightly highlighted the importance of integrated approach, which has many elements to be combined, and they were highlighted by all panelists. I guess I have some wisdom on paper here, but I will highlight another thing which is not on my paper, but it's all right here. It says something about creating conditions that enable older citizens to realize their personal potential and expand their participation in society, and this is being done through integrated approach. What is particularly, I guess, a good example of what is happening in my country, we do promote the so-called traditional moral values. Traditional moral values. They were decreed by a presidential decree. There are 17 of them. And we're happy to live in this reference framework, and they are quite modern. They are not bringing us back to like pre-electricity age or pre-computer age, so they're not archaic. We call them traditional moral values, and among them, we have this intergenerational solidarity. We call it intergenerational solidarity, and the family values. And I guess this is a sort of a pillar of national policy and institutional build-up that helps aging population through family. Family should remain the pillar of what is happening with the elder generation, because no matter what good institution you have, what good policies you have, programs, financing, without good family, supportive family, intergenerational solidarity within the family, that will not be possible. That will not be possible for elder generation to be healthy and to be contributing. And I guess this is one of the most important things that I can share from my national experience.
Thank you so much. And the Deputy Minister, Rafiq.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think we have been all quite comprehensive in already answering from some angles your question, but I absolutely agree with my distinguished colleague, Deputy Minister of Russian Federation. That's very important. The moral values, in light of all the developments that we are going through, which has definitely opportunities, but at the same time, some negative impact on the society, and retaining the moral values are extremely important. I would add also that the governments would endeavor to keep the potential within their own country, preventing brain drains. That's also very important. The government is investing a lot on building capacities and opportunities for the youth or for different segments of the society, and it needs also to prevent somehow the flow of this capacity out of their own territories and try to build upon whatever has been achieved, since we have been all quite in line with the view that this is a development issue. The demographic transition is not only about making people stay happy or the aging part of the population not to feel excluded or used to feel less, having less opportunities, but also it can be translated into development opportunities. If you pay more attention, if you keep your potential within your own country, that would be definitely playing an important role.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And now let me move to Minister Panilag, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam. You asked single most important policy action, but again, I would propose to develop an integrated, people-centered long-term care system at community level, while agreeing with the other panelists who already proposed, particularly considering their country-specific situation. As our population ages rapidly, increasing, we must move beyond fragmented approaches and ensure that healthcare, social protection, and community support system work together to enable older person to live with dignity, independence, and security, especially in rural areas. Because in the case of Sri Lanka, as I already mentioned, most of the people live in rural areas. It's approximately 8% of the population lives in rural areas. Therefore, we need integrated care system at rural levels. So now we are talking about this intergenerational concept, but in the Asian family system, where the extended family system were there, that all the three generations lived together, but the family shifted from the extended family to nuclear family. Now our family size in Sri Lanka is just around 3.6, where earlier it was more than 5. So now we need to consider the current situation and develop kind of integrated system where these people enjoy their the elder life with if I don't think that we can propose them to they live like they did earlier, but within the context of current socio-economic systems, an integrated system where we amalgamate all the social care, the community empowerment, and healthcare system. So that kind of systems are necessary if we are to address the current situation of the aged population. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now, Minister Fatu Afe, the floor is yours.
If there's one key policy action that Tonga would recommend to the region, is to invest in integrated people-centered systems that connect climate resilience, social protection, care services, and livelihoods across all ages. In a small island context like Tonga, these challenges are interconnected. Climate change, aging population, and youth employment cannot be addressed in isolation. When we face shocks such as cyclones or the recent fuel crisis. The impacts go beyond physical and economic damage. Older persons struggle to access services, households come under stress, and young people face limited livelihood opportunities. Yet, in these moments, we also see the strength of our communities, youth supporting older persons, families relying on one another, and community networks becoming the first line of response. This reminds us that resilience is not built by one sector alone. It must build through systems that connect people across generation. First, social protection and care system must be inclusive and climate responsive. Older persons should be supported to live with dignity, with access to care services and safety during emergencies. This includes strengthening home and community-based care, supporting caregivers, ensuring inclusive evacuation and response systems. Second, we must invest in youth as drivers of resilience. With a large youth population, policies go beyond employment to include skills development, entrepreneurship, and active participation in decision making. In Tonga, we are already seeing what this can look like. Aged care training programs are equipping young people with practical skills, creating employment while strengthening care for older persons. It is a simple but powerful example of how one investment can deliver benefits across generations. Third, we must connect these efforts through an intergenerational approach, creating spaces for youth and older person to support one another, share knowledge, and build stronger communities. At the regional level, this requires better coordination and a shift from siloed approaches to people-centered planning that reflects lived realities. For Tonga, this approach is grounded not only in policy, but in our values of care, respect, and collective responsibility. Ultimately, if we want the benefits of longer lives and changing age structures to be shared by all, we must invest in systems that bring together resilience, care, and opportunity across generation. Malo apito.
Thank you, Minister. We have 1 minute left, so I think it's better for me not to give the comprehensive summary of this session because this is a very informative and insightful session. Let me just repeat a few keywords and which emerged from the whole panel discussion. Number 1, intergenerational solidarity. Number 2, integrated policy system. Number 3, deliberate policy actions. Number 4, recognizing the vulnerability faced by the Pacific small island countries. And the last but not the least, at the regional level, I think all the panelists would agree with me, let's put demographic shift at the center of the development. It's not a social issue alone. It should be considered as an integrated part of the overall development. We need a better coordination. We need a strengthened cooperation. We also need to remember that the success of our region stems from a long-term strategic investment in human capital, stems from our consistent investment in human beings. So let's take a people-centered approach to conclude this session. Let us give a very warm round of applause to all our panelists for your contribution. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lean, and to all panelists to their insightful perspectives. I now open the floor for country interventions. I would like to urge all speakers to adhere to the time limit of 3 minutes. I remind all delegates that longer statements can be sent to the Secretariat and will be circulated. Based on the requests received, the Secretariat has prepared a tentative list of speakers. To maintain order and for delegations to be ready to take the floor, when I call on the speaker, I'll also announce the delegations next in line. We ask all delegates to speak from their seats when I call upon them. The first speaker is Tuvalu, from Tuvalu. His Excellency Mr. Benedito, sorry. The country name is Tuvalu, and Honorable Penapasi Nelson, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance and Economic Development of Tuvalu. Thank you. You have the floor.
Mr. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, Tuvalu aligns itself with the spirit of our shared commitment to leave no one behind. As a small island developing state, Tuvalu stands at the front line of the climate crisis. Our islands, low-lying, remote, and fragile, face existential threats from rising sea levels, coastal erosion, saltwater intrusion, and increasingly severe weather events. Climate change is not a distant risk for us. It is a present and intensifying reality that threatens our homes, our livelihoods, our culture, and ultimately our sovereignty. The Pacific region is home to some of the world's most climate vulnerable countries. Despite contributing the least to global greenhouse gas emissions, we bear a disproportionate burden of its impacts. This injustice underscores the urgent need for collective global action rooted in equity, responsibility, and solidarity. For Tuvalu, climate change is not only an environmental issue, it is a development challenge. It exacerbates existing structural vulnerabilities, including limited economic diversification, geographic isolation, high cost of living, and constrained physical space. It places additional pressure on our infrastructure, food systems, water security, and public health, further complicating our efforts to achieve sustainable development for all generations. In this context, regional and global collaboration is not optional, it is essential. We call for strengthened partnerships at all levels. Regional cooperation in the Pacific has demonstrated the power of shared knowledge, collective advocacy, and pooled resources. Through collaboration, we can scale up resilience building initiatives, share best practices, and implement innovative solutions tailored to our unique circumstances. At a global level, we urge the international community to deliver on its commitments, particularly in climate finance. Accessible, adequate, and predictable climate financing is critical for small island developing states to support adaptation, build resilience, and safeguard development gains. Investments in climate-resilient infrastructure, early warning systems, and sustainable livelihoods are vital to ensure that our people especially the most vulnerable, are not left behind. We also emphasized the importance of technology transfer and digital innovation. Leveraging technology can help overcome our geographic constraints, improve service delivery, strengthen data systems, and enhance our capacity to respond to climate and development challenges. Excellencies, addressing climate vulnerability requires a whole of society and whole of region approach. It requires inclusive policies that recognize the needs of all: women, youth, persons with disabilities, and older persons, who are often most affected by climate impacts. Let us reaffirm our collective responsibilities to support vulnerable nations such as Tuvalu. Let us strengthen cooperation, accelerate action, and ensure that sustainable development remains within reach for all. For Tuvalu, and for many small island developing states, the stakes could not be higher. Our survival depends on the decisions we make today. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Uh, the next delegation is from Timor-Leste. His Excellency Mr. Benedito dos Santos Freitas, Minister for Foreign Affairs and Cooperation. And you have the floor.
Mr. Chair, Excellencies, it is my honor to deliver Timor-Leste's view on the theme Leaving No One Behind, Advancing a Society for All Ages in Asia and the Pacific. For Timor-Leste, leaving no one behind is not simply a development aspiration, it is a national responsibility and a moral imperative. It requires building a society where every citizen, regardless of age, gender, geography, or social status, has equitable access to opportunities, protection, and dignity throughout the life course. Our national development approach is anchored in human rights, social justice, and inclusive growth, guided by the strategic development plan of the government. We believe that sustainable peace and prosperity can only be achieved when development reaches the most vulnerable and when every generation is included in national progress. Social protection remains one of the core pillars of our national policy framework. Timor-Leste continues to strengthen non-discriminatory social protection systems that support vulnerable groups, including children, youth, women, persons with disabilities, elder persons, and workers in the informal economy. We are also taking progressive steps to support micro and small enterprises, promote formalization, and improve resilience among households most exposed to poverty and economic shocks. Building a society for all ages also means ensuring dignity and opportunity across the full cycle from every childhood to old age. We are strengthening investments in maternal and child health, nutrition, education, youth employment, and care systems for older persons, recognizing that social cohesion depends on intergenerational solidarity and shared prosperity. Gender equality remains central to this vision. For Timor-Leste, gender equality is not only a matter of justice, but also a foundation for peace, democracy, and national progress. The principles of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action continue to guide our constitutional commitments, public policies, and national budgeting processes. Since the restoration of independence, we have made important progress in strengthening women's participation in political leadership, public administration, education, and economic life. However, significant gaps remain in access to quality education, healthcare, decent employment, land ownership, and gender-responsive infrastructure. We remain fully committed to closing these gaps and accelerating women's empowerment across all sectors. Excellencies, Timor-Leste is one of the youngest nations in Asia, with nearly 72% of our population under the age of 35. This presents not only a challenge, but a historic opportunity, a demographic dividend that can transform our nation if managed strategically. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency, Mr. Freitas. The next speaker is from Sri Lanka, Honorable Dr. Upali Penilage, Minister for Rural Development, Social Security and Community Empowerment. You have the floor, Your Excellency.
Mr. Chair, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka aligns itself with the theme of this agenda item and reaffirm its commitment to a development version grounded in equality, inclusivity, and dignity for all. As we navigate demographic transitions, Sri Lanka has adopted a life cycle approach to development, ensuring that the needs of all individuals at every stage of life are addressed and that no one is left behind. First, strengthening social protections remains a priority. Through the Aswasima program, that financial support for vulnerable community, we provided targeted income support via digitalization of social registries to better reach vulnerable groups, including women-headed household, persons with disabilities, and older persons. Second, empowering women is central to inclusive growth. We support women entrepreneurs through improved access to financial and market, while expanding childcare service to enhance labor force participations. Initiatives such as Praja Shakti, Poverty Alleviations Program, and Leadership and Local Governance. Third, investing in future generation is key. We are aligning vocational training with market needs and expanding digital inclusive for youth. At the same time, we continue to strengthen early childhood development, nutrition, and school meal program. Fourth, Sri Lanka is committed to inclusive aging and disability rights. We are expanding disability awareness and establishing community-based elder care services and ensure dignity, independence, and active participation in society. Mr. Chair, Sri Lanka believes that building a society for all ages required integrated policies and strong partnership. We value ESCAP role in supporting regional cooperation and knowledge sharing is this regard. In conclusion, Sri Lanka remains committed to ensure that every individual can live with dignity and opportunity. Together, let us advance a more inclusive and resilient Asia Pacific where no one is left behind. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Ambassador. The next speaker is from Micronesia. Sorry, Armenia. Armenia, His Excellency, Mr. Robert Abisogomonian, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. You have the floor. Thank you.
Distinguished Mr. Chair, distinguished delegates, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to share Armenia's vision on this important theme, which we consider highly relevant in the context of our today's discussions. Democratic changes across Asia and the Pacific, particularly rapid population aging, are shaping our societies and economies in profound ways. While these shifts create serious challenges, particularly in adapting to digital transformation and ensuring equal participation for all, They also offer an opportunity to strengthen solidarity across generations and build more inclusive and resilient societies. This requires ensuring dignity, equal opportunities, and active participation for older persons, while promoting lifelong learning, accessible care, and conditions for healthy and active aging. In this regard, we commend the extensive efforts within the framework of ESCAP to advance measures to promote adaptive social protection system through human rights-based, family-friendly, and gender-responsive approaches. Social justice and sustainable development, alongside democracy, rule of law, and good governance, remain indispensable foundations of peace, stability, and prosperity at the domestic, regional, and global levels. They are anchored on the tenets of dialogue, mutual understanding, regional economic and trade cooperation, which help transform the socio-economic landscape for a better future and for generations to come. Excellencies, Armenia as a democratic social state pursues complementary and mutually reinforcing policies in various sectors of social life, including education, health, social protection, and women's empowerment. Armenia's demographic strategy for 2024-2040 aims at developing human capital and improving the quality of life for all citizens from birth to old age by investing in education, healthcare, and other fundamental areas that support family well-being, gender equality, and the empowerment of individuals. It reflects our conviction that investing in people at every stage of life is the strongest foundation for long-term stability, resilience, and sustainable development, while also contributing to poverty eradication, decent work, and quality healthcare. Alongside these efforts, a universal health insurance system has recently been introduced by the government of the Republic of Armenia. This initiative adds to the integrated care system benefiting different groups of society, including older persons. According to the recently adopted law, the government will fully subsidize insurance premiums for people under 18 and those aged 65 and older, as well as for individuals aged 18 to 65 with disability status. Within the framework of these comprehensive and inclusive policies, a number of programs have been launched to ensure women's socio-economic empowerment, particularly in rural and remote areas, by developing their skills, improving access to resources, ensuring equal pay for work of equal value, and promoting women's leadership. In addition, the new Gender Equality Strategy and Action Plan for 2025-2028 also addresses climate change and adaptation through a gender perspective. We believe that women's full participation in economic and public life is not only a matter of equality, but also a prerequisite for stronger, more resilient, and more prosperous societies. In the same spirit, Armenia is also developing the ADAMS platform in cooperation with international partners to better coordinate donor-supported programs and align with national priorities, including objectives targeting disability inclusion. This initiative will strengthen national ownership, improve coordination with partners, and ensure that international support delivers tangible benefit for people on the ground. The issues and policy priorities outlined above clearly demonstrate the importance of inclusive, resilient, and sustainable social development, as well as the need for strengthened international cooperation to achieve these objectives. Armenia remains committed to advancing inclusive social development policies and strengthening cooperation within the ESCAP framework. We believe that only through sustained cooperation, mutual trust, and coordinated efforts, we can ensure that no one is left behind and build resilient, inclusive, and sustainable societies for all ages. I thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. Next speaker is from Micronesia, His Excellency Mr. Harman Semes, Junior Assistant Secretary, Multilateral and European Affairs. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. The Federated States of Micronesia supports the theme of leaving no one behind and thanks the presenters for their valuable insights and sharing their country's experience and findings on the topic. For FSM, three interconnected challenges stands out: an aging population with increasing disability, outward migration, and changing world of work shaped by informality, climate change, and technology. These pressures risk depending inequality, particularly in small, climate vulnerability highland states with limited resources. FSM is addressing the needs of its aging population through a comprehensive and integrated approach. The government continues to strengthen social protection mechanisms for elderly citizens, workers, and survivors through the social security system, which provides financial security in retirement as well as survivor benefits for dependents. In parallel, FSM is expanding its health care system to better support the needs of older persons, including the provisions of essential care services. The MyCare Health Care System insurance plan further enhances access to medical treatment, including services available abroad. In addition, strong family support system remain a vital component in ensuring the well-being and care of elderly. Our migration remains a challenge and impacting our population growth. FSM aims to strengthen education skills, training, and lifelong learning so people of all ages can participate in emerging digital, green, and blue economies and stay home to work. There is a need to build our artificial intelligent legal framework, and I'm glad that I participated in the AI side event yesterday and hope that, working with delegates to support and train our people of all ages in this space. FSM youth policy is designed to support youth in promoting education, civil engagement, health outreach, and job skill support. For instance, civic participation in education program in our FSM states keep students hands-on experience with mock elections and debates on legal issues of importance to them. Technical training and scholarships are available for them to improve job skills. Sport activities are ongoing to promote healthy lifestyle in Micronesia. FSM's integrated disaster management and climate change policy provides the main national framework for managing climate and disaster risk, and it requires state-level action plan. FSM also emphasizes the importance of just transition, ensuring that workers affected by climate change are protected, retrained, and supported in a sustainable livelihood. Excellencies, FSM reaffirms to advance women's empowerment, economic empowerment by removing barriers to employment and entrepreneurship, expanding access to finance and skills, and promoting shared responsibility for caregiving. Finally, FSM supports strongly on strong data and partnership are essential. We will continue work with ESCAP and partners to improve data, share best practices, and support our migrant workers. FSM views democratic change not only as a challenge, but as an opportunity to build a fairer and more resilient society for all ages in our communities, coordinating at all levels to advance our integrated approach. Kalangan, and I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Next speaker is from Thailand, Ms. Suni Sri Sangatra Kulert, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Social Development and Human Security. You have the floor. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, across Asia and the Pacific, demographic change is reshaping our societies. As Thailand transitions towards a super-age society, this shift calls for inclusive and forward-looking responses across the life course. In this regard, Thailand underscores the importance of strengthening social protection systems and people-centered approach in line with the Doha Political Declaration, with individuals, families, and communities as the foundation of resilience. Mr. Chair, Thailand prioritizes policies that address the needs of all stages of life, particularly those most vulnerable. This approach reflects Thailand's commitment to advancing a society for all ages, where inclusion, dignity, and opportunities are ensured across generations. For children and youth, early childhood development, especially under the age of 6, remains a key priority to ensure lifelong well-being and human potential. For the working age population, efforts focus on the strengthening livelihoods, expanding income opportunities, and reducing household burdens. For persons with disabilities, inclusive policies promote empowerment, independent living, and access to employment and essential services. For older persons, Thailand advanced active aging through lifelong learning, skill development, and opportunities for continued participation, alongside strengthened long-term care and age-friendly environments. In parallel, housing initiatives prioritize vulnerable groups to ensure access to safe and adequate living conditions, while targeted responses address emerging challenges, including environmental pressures to protect those most at risk. Mr. Chair, Thailand remains committed to advancing the Sustainable Development Goals and strengthening partnerships across all sectors. Through collective action, we can build inclusive and resilient societies for people of all ages, ensuring that no one is left behind. Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you, Your Excellency. Next speaker is from Indonesia. His Excellency Mr. Tri Purnajaya, Director of Economic Development and Environmental Affairs, Minister of Foreign Affairs, National Development Planning Agency. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excellencies, distinguished delegates. Indonesia welcomes the timely focus of this session in advancing a society for all ages. At a time when the world continues to face economic uncertainty, energy challenges, and geopolitical tension, the imperative to protect the most vulnerable and strengthen social resilience has become even more urgent. For Indonesia, leaving no one behind is not merely a policy aspiration. It is a development commitment that must be translated into concrete action across all stages of life. As demographic transition continue to reshape our region, we must ensure that development policies remain inclusive, responsive, and forward-looking. Indonesia has taken important steps in this regard. Through our National Development Agenda, we continue to promote active and healthy aging by expanding access to healthcare and nutrition services. We also strengthening effort to improve overall human development outcomes while investing in education, skills development, and productive employment to empower younger and working age population. At the same time, we recognize that inclusive societies require a strong and adaptive social protection system. Indonesia therefore continue to reinforce social assistance and national health security, while strengthening the role of local government in inclusive development planning, particularly to better address the needs of older persons, persons with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups. We also view the care economy as a strategic part of the solution. It is essential not only for responding to the needs of aging population, but also for generating decent work, supporting families and communities, and fostering more inclusive economic growth. Mr. Chair, Excellencies, Indonesia believes that building a society for all ages requires sustained political will, policy coherence, and strong regional cooperation. In this regard, we highly value ESCAP role as an important platform for policy dialogue, knowledge sharing, and capacity building. We also welcome the shared commitment reflected in the Baku Bangkok Declaration. Indonesia remains committed to working together with all member states and partners to advance inclusive, resilient, and people-centered development, and to ensure that truly no one is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Next speaker is from Marshall Islands. His Excellency Mr. Junior Aini, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to the Pacific Islands countries. You have the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Chair, Excellencies and distinguished delegates, the Marshall Islands welcomes the focus of this document on decent work, active aging, and women's empowerment. This priority resonates deeply with our national experience. In the Marshall Islands, youth out migration and elder care are daily realities that shape our social fabric and our future. Our young people often seek opportunities abroad, leaving behind communities that must adapt to demographic shifts and ensure that elders receive the care and dignity they deserve. At the same time, women continue to be the backbone of our families, our communities, and our economy. Empowering them through decent work and equitable participation is essential to sustaining resilience across generations. To address these challenges, we are advancing innovative social protection measures tailored to our context. A basic universal income ballot program providing direct support to all Marshallese households residing in the Marshall Islands. Social Security Scheme initial rollout to senior citizens, women entrepreneurship and digital skill initiatives, and youth employment pathways linked to renewable energy and technology sectors. We encourage ESCAP to strengthen technical cooperation on digital transformation and maritime safety across the Pacific, ensuring that connectivity drives inclusive growth, education, health, and innovation. We call on ESCAP to help Pacific governments design integrated social protection systems that reflect small population and limited physical space. We also propose a specific knowledge exchange on care systems and employment pathways so that demographic transition strengthen, not strain our society. For the Marshall Islands, social protection is not merely a safety net, it is an investment in human dignity and sustainable development. We stand ready to work with ESCAP and our Pacific neighbors to build systems that honor our elders, empower our women, and create meaningful future for our youth. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Next speaker is from Malaysia. His Excellency Mr. Datu Wan Jaidiwan Abdullah, Ambassador of Malaysia to the Kingdom of Thailand. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excellency, distinguished delegates, Malaysia recognizes that population aging is accelerating across Asia and the Pacific, transforming our societies, economies, and care system. We view these shifts not only as a challenge, but as an opportunity to build a more inclusive, resilient, and people-centered society for all ages. Malaysia has strengthened its policy framework through the National Policy for Older Persons, guided by 5 dimensions: on aging, healthy, active, positive, productive, and supportive aging. Building on this, in October 2025, Malaysia launched the National Action Plan for Older Person 2026-2030, aligned with the National Development Plan, which is our 13th Malaysian plan, and the National Aging Blueprint. In November 2025, we also launched the Malaysia Care Strategic Framework and Action Plan to strengthen a coordinated care system, including long-term and community-based care and to support aging in place. Malaysia recognizes and remain committed to advance the right and dignity for older persons. Following engagement with the UN mechanism and the 2024 visit of the independent expert, Malaysia is developing a dedicated bill on older persons to strengthen rights related to dignity, care, protection, participation, and accessibility of the older person. To support vulnerable groups, Malaysia provided a cash transfer program of $150, approximately 5,000 baht per month, to older persons from low-income households. In 2025, over 165,000 older persons benefited from this initiative, with a total allocation of $293 million. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, at the community level, Malaysia have established 217 activity centers for older persons, serving over 47,000 registered participation, promoting active aging and social participation. We also operate the home health services nationwide through the partnership program with the NGOs. As of December last year, the oldest person of about 6,530 people have received support from 2,152 volunteers, including assistance with daily care and transportation to medical appointment for the elder person. At the regional level, Malaysia reaffirmed its commitment to the ASEAN Agenda on Aging, including support the ASEAN Center for Active Aging and Innovation. During our ASEAN Chairmanship 2025 in Malaysia, Malaysia co-hosted ASEAN Republic of Korea Conference on Care and Support for Older Persons, which produced key recommendations, which is feeding into the post-2025 work plan of the Senior Official Meeting on Social Welfare and Development. In conclusion, Malaysia remains committed to promote active aging, strengthen intergenerational solidarity, and investing in the care economy to ensure no one is left behind. We emphasize a whole of government approach and the whole of society approach, and we stand ready to work with UN ESCAP member states on inclusive and evidence-based solution. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Next speaker is from Tajikistan, His Excellency Mr. Ardashir Kadri, Ambassador and Permanent Representative to ESCAP. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me welcome all the participants of this session. The theme of the current session, Leaving No One Behind, Advancing a Society for All Ages in Asia and the Pacific, touches on the very essence of human existence. In a world of undergoing rapid demographic and technological transformation, our main duty is to ensure that progress does not turn into a barrier separating generations. For Tajikistan, inclusivity is not a new Western concept, but the core of our civilization. Our society is based on the Padar Solor principle, an institution of mentoring and respect for elders and a deep commitment to family ties. We perceive the family as a social guarantor. Unlike in many urbanized societies in Tajikistan, the elderly remain at the center of the family. We consider them not as passive recipients of assistance, but as guardians of the Pand Noma, a set of wisdom and ethical standards. We practice the Hashar tradition, our unique experience of collective work and mutual assistance. Hashar is not being transformed into a modern form of volunteerism, where young people and the older generation work together to improve communities, passing skills from grandfather to grandson. Under the leadership of the President of the Republic of Tajikistan, the country's social policy has been reoriented toward creating seamless support for people at all stages of their lives. We are systematically investing in human capital. Having one of the youngest population in the region, the average age is about 25 years, we understand that the well-being of future pensioners is being built today through high-quality education and decent jobs for young people. As part of the National Strategy for Population Health until 2030, we are implementing age-related disease prevention programs and expanding the network of geriatric care, striving to ensure that an increase in life expectancy is accompanied by high quality. We are aware of the risk of digital alienation and are promoting digital integration. Tajikistan is initiating digital literacy program for 60 plus people, so that technologies from telemedicine to electronic public services unite rather than isolate people. Tajikistan is an active supporter of regional integration in Central Asia. We are convinced that the problem of aging and youth policy in our region have common roots and require common solutions. It's impossible to talk about a future for all ages while ignoring the climate crisis. Tajikistan, as the source country of rivers, reminds us that melting glaciers is a threat to the food and water security of all future generations. Our initiative to declare 2025 the International Year of Glacier Conservation is an act of responsibility to our children and grandchildren. We call on ESCAP countries to strengthen mechanisms to protect the right of migrant workers and their families, so that the separation of generation during migration does not lead to the social vulnerability of children and the elderly left at home. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize three areas on which Tajikistan proposes to focus ESCAP's attention. First, creation of regional platform for the exchange of experience in the field of the silver economy and the adaptation of social protection system to demographic changes. Second, support for intergenerational entrepreneurship projects where the experience of the elders meets the digital skills of the youth. And third, strengthening cultural humanism. We call for the inclusion of issues of traditional family values in the UN global reports as a tool to ensure the sustainability of society. Ladies and gentlemen, the great poet Rudaki, who is known as a founder of our literature, once said, I cite in my language and will translate, In jahan ro nigar ba chashmi khirat, ne badon chashm kandaru bingari. Hamchu daryos vaznakukori, kishtiye sos to badon guzari. Look upon this world with the eye of wisdom, not with the ordinary eye that merely sees. It is like an ocean, and of your good deeds, build a ship to cross it with ease. Let's build that ship together, making it strong and roomy enough for everyone, regardless of their age. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Next speaker is from Bangladesh. His Excellency Mr. Fayaz Mushid Kazi, Ambassador and Permanent Representative to ESCAP. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. With your kind permission, on behalf of Ambassador and Pierre, I would like to deliver the intervention on behalf of Ambassador. Thank you. Mr. Chair, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to you all. I sincerely appreciate ESCAP for arranging this 82 session under the timely and compelling theme, Leaving No One Behind, Advancing a Society for All Ages in Asia and the Pacific. This theme reflects Bangladesh's development trajectory, ensuring economic progress translate into social inclusion across generations. Distinguished delegates, current government fully committed to Leaving No One Behind agenda has adopted Family Card, a transformative digital social safety net initiative aims to cover around 40 million families across the country, and Farmers Card aimed at making farmers self-reliant and financially solvent. With declined poverty and under 5 mortality, increased life expectancy, near universal access to electricity, impressive climate resilience, progress in women empowerment, gender equality, and primary enrollment education are achievements that reflects resilience of people and strength of our development efforts. Mr. Chair, our government has placed strong emphasis on restoring macroeconomic stability and strengthening economic governance for a sustainable future. Through coordinated fiscal and monetary measures, our government is working to stabilize market and to protect the purchasing power of our citizens, particularly the most vulnerable group. Government is also investing in skills development, promoting entrepreneurship, and supporting small and medium enterprises to harness the demographic potential of the young demographic workforces. Mr. Chair, we are also advancing digital transformation and innovative-driven growth while diversifying our export based on to enhance economic resilience. Bangladesh focuses on improving efficiency through better targeting, integrated database, and digital delivery system to operate social safety net programs, ensuring support reaches those who need it most. Bangladesh, being one of the most climate vulnerable countries, invests in climate resilient infrastructure, renewable energy, coastal protection, and disaster preparedness to strengthen resilience and safeguard development progress. Adequate and predictable climate finance, technology transfer, and capacity building support are essential to effectively respond to climate challenges. Reflecting on opportunities for a sustainable future, no country can succeed in isolation. Thus, regional and global cooperation is indispensable. Mr. Chair, ESCAP provides a vital platform for policy dialogue, knowledge sharing, and capacity building. We must work together to bridge financial gaps, promote fair trade, enhance access to technology, and support innovation. Regional collaboration needed for digital transformation, green energy, and resilient infrastructure. Bangladesh remains firmly committed to building a sustainable future that is inclusive, resilient, and equitable. We believe that through sound economic management, targeted social policies, climate action, and strengthened partnerships, we can overcome challenges and seize new opportunities. Let us work together to build a future where development is not only sustained but shared, where prosperity reaches every segment of the society, and where no one is left behind. I thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is from Vietnam. His Excellency Mr. Pham Viet Hang, Ambassador and Permanent Representative to ESCAP. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. We thank ESCAP for its insightful reports. Vietnam shares deep concern that we stand just 4 years from 2030 deadline. The Asia Pacific is still far from achieving the SDGs. Millions of people remain trapped in multi-dimensional poverty. The triple crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution is reversing hard-won development gains. Energy insecurity, water scarcity, and rising inequality further compound the risk that no one will be truly left behind. Vietnam speaks from its own experience. With the achievements of 40 years of Đổi mới, Vietnam has transformed from one of the poorest countries to the middle-income economy, with GDP surpassing 510 billion USD, per capita income rising over 5,000 USD, life expectancies reaching 74.5 years, and our Human Development Index standing at 0.766. Vietnam is now entering a new stage of development. We are building a new growth model with science, technology, innovation, and digital transformation as primary drivers, while ensuring inclusive social development, universal healthcare, and sustainable environment protection. Distinguished delegates, Vietnam firmly supports multilateralism and reaffirm the central role of the United Nations as global governance. We highly value ESCAP's role in translating global commitment into regional action, promoting regional cooperation, sharing best practices, supporting evidence-based policy making, and addressing emerging challenges. We also strongly identify with this section theme. Asia and the Pacific is experiencing one of the most rapid demographic transition in history. Population aging is reshaping labor markets, challenging social protection and healthcare system across our region. Vietnam itself is developing and implementing national strategies on population and development, the silver economy, digital era human development, the quality workforce building, while strengthening our social welfare system and working toward universal healthcare coverage. And in this context, we look forward to ESCAP's leadership in 3 strategic areas. First, strengthen policy advisory, support and promote regional cooperation on proactive adaptation for population aging, including sharing models for inclusive multi-tier social protection system and harnessing the silver economy as genuine driver of growth and inclusion. Second, ensure that the economic policies and social policies are designed and implemented in tandem. ESCAP should champion integrate macroeconomic and social policy frameworks that connect growth with equity, decent work, and human development for all age. Third, place science, technology, innovation, and digital transformation at the heart of the region's development strategy, but always with the people at the center. This means ensuring that digital transitions are inclusive across age groups, bridging the digital divide, and directing the technological investment towards strengthening public service, healthcare, and lifelong learning. Achieving the 2030 agenda requires coordinated action. Let's work together to build a more resilient, inclusive, and prosperous Asia Pacific, one that truly leaves no one behind. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Next speaker is from Pakistan, Her Excellency Ms. Rukhsana Afzal, Ambassador and Permanent Representative to ESCAP. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, Pakistan reaffirms its unwavering commitment to leaving no one behind as a central pillar of sustainable development. Guided by Udan Pakistan and aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals, our development agenda prioritizes equity and empowerment, ensuring inclusion across all age groups, particularly women, youth, older persons, and marginalized communities. At the federal level, Pakistan is scaling up social protection and poverty alleviation through flagship programs. The Pakistan Poverty Alleviation Fund has disbursed significant resources, including US $7.15 million in the first half of 2024-25, focusing on microfinance, community infrastructure, and climate resilience, while the National Poverty Graduation Initiative has provided over 490,000 interest-free loans, with 47% benefiting women. The Benazir Income Support Program has expanded its outreach, including education support, to over 4.23 million children, nearly half of whom are girls, alongside increased stipends in recent years. The Rising Together project, with an allocation of US $143 million on a 50-50 federal and provincial cost-sharing basis, is targeting the 20 poorest districts to reduce multidimensional poverty through livelihood support, employability, and financial inclusion, particularly for women and youth. At the provincial level, targeted investments are addressing localized vulnerabilities. In Punjab, initiatives such as non-formal education project with allocation exceeding US $26.8 million and the establishment of shelter homes are supporting vulnerable populations, including children and disabled persons. In Sindh, major housing reconstruction and urban resettlement initiatives, including allocations exceeding US $29.6 million for flood rehabilitation, are restoring livelihoods in affected districts. In Balochistan, livelihood support through agriculture, livestock distribution programs of US $2.14 million and development packages exceeding US $20 million are being implemented in underserved areas. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, investments such as US $10.7 million for agricultural productivity through microfinance and targeted livestock development programs are strengthening resilience and income generation. Pakistan is also implementing key interventions to advance inclusion across the life course. These include the establishment of a Center of Excellence for Children with Autism, providing early diagnosis and rehabilitation services. The Women Inclusive Finance initiatives to expand credit access through guarantee facilities and strengthen institutional mechanisms through human rights bodies and minority protection frameworks. Additional measures include financial assistance to widows, orphans, and older persons, shelter facilities for senior citizens, and targeted education stipends ensuring protection and dignity at every stage of life. Pakistan's approach recognizes that building a society for all ages requires integrated life cycle-based policies that reduce inequalities and expand opportunities for all. Pakistan remains committed to strengthening inclusive social protection systems, reducing multidimensional poverty, and building resilience to economic and climate challenges. We look forward to continued regional cooperation in Asia and the Pacific to collectively advance a more inclusive and equitable future for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Next speaker is from China. His Excellency Mr. Ye Juenon, Permanent Representative to ESCAP. You have the floor. Thank you.
谢主席。主席，发展为了人民，发展依靠人民，发展成果由人民共享，是中国推进社会发展的核心理念。不让任何人掉队，是中国政府对本国人民的庄严承诺，也是对联合国2030年可持续发展议程的坚定践行。中国着力保障全年龄段民生福祉，人民群众获得感、幸福感、安全感不断提升。 我们完善妇幼健康服务，全面推进生育支持，妇幼健康核心指标位居全球中高收入国家前列。我们强化未成年关爱保护，支持儿童福利设施、未成年保护设施建设，打造儿童友好环境。我们确保青年就业水平总体平稳，积极应对人口老龄化，实施渐进式延迟法定退休年龄，因地制宜发展银发经济。我们持续保障妇女平等就业、接受教育与参政权利，推动妇女事业全面发展。我们依法保障残疾人平等权利，科技助残，赋能残疾人就业、教育、康复无障碍改造，全社会助残和残疾人自强的文明社会氛围更加浓厚。主席，当前亚太地区正经历深刻的人口结构变化，对经济增长、民生保障、区域合作提出新的课题，携手破解人口发展难题，推动社会可持续发展，是亚太各国的共同使命。今年是中国“15+5”开局之年，我们将持续深化社会领域改革，把促进人口高质量发展与社会全面进步紧密结合。作为最大发展中国家，中方始终致力于与包括广大发展中国家在内的世界各国共同发展、合作共赢。亚太是命运与共的大家庭，让我们秉持真正的多边主义，不让任何国家、任何人掉队，共建、共享更加美好的未来。谢谢主席。
Thank you, Your Excellency. The next speaker is from Mongolia. His Excellency, Her Excellency Ms. Guamaral Altangarel, Deputy Permanent Representative to ESCAP. You have the floor. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, demographic change is reshaping our societies, economies, and labor markets across Asia and the Pacific. As the theme of this session makes clear, the region is facing rapid population aging, growing care needs, changing patterns of work, and persistent inequalities affecting women, persons with disabilities, informal workers, and other vulnerable groups. These trends call for coordinated, inclusive, and forward-looking policy responses. In this regard, we reaffirm our commitment to the principle of leaving no one behind as a central pillar of sustainable development. We believe that advancing a society for all ages requires a life course approach that promotes dignity, equality, and opportunity for all. This principle is often measured by the extent to which countries ensure that vulnerable groups, particularly older persons, persons with disabilities, and children, are fully covered by social protection systems. In this regard, Mongolia ranks relatively high in social protection coverage. Notably, pensions and benefits are provided on a monthly basis to all older persons, all persons with disabilities, and all children. Mr. Chair, while Mongolia remains firmly committed to the principle of leaving no one behind within its social protection system, there are several priority areas that require further attention and improvement. As of 2025, persons aged 60 and above account for around 10% of the population, and this figure is projected to reach 1 in 5 by 2050. It is therefore essential to harness the positive aspects of aging, promote intergenerational solidarity, and ensure inclusive development. Mongolia is undertaking legal reforms and introducing new services to promote healthy and active aging, as well as to expand care services. Strengthening pension systems, healthcare, and long-term care services will be critical to protecting older persons from poverty. There is also a need to develop the care economy and implement measures that support women who have been excluded from the labor market due to caregiving responsibilities, thereby enhancing their economic participation. Mongolia is currently developing a revised draft law on social welfare aimed at strengthening long-term capacity-building support for vulnerable households. These includes linking social welfare with employment policies, promoting self-reliance, and improving livelihoods. Ensuring the full participation of vulnerable groups in social and economic life remains a key priority. In addition, learning gaps among children from low-income households remain a significant driver of intergenerational poverty. Therefore, policies to expand access to quality education at all levels are essential. In conclusion, Mongolia reaffirms its commitment to working closely with ESCAP in all member states to advance a society for all ages in Asia and the Pacific. We must respond to demographic change not only as a policy challenge, but also as an opportunity to strengthen social cohesion, deepen intergenerational solidarity, and promote more equitable and sustainable development for all. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is from Lao PDR, Mr. Pitsamuni King von Vichit. You have the floor. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Excellency, distinguished delegate, the theme Leaving No One Behind, Advancing a Society for All Ages in Asia and the Pacific resonate with Laopida's own development priority. Advancing a society for all ages means ensuring that every person can contribute to and benefit from development. For Laopida, this commitment translates into interconnected imperative, investing in our demographic dividend through youth empowerment and advancing the meaningful participation of everyone in our social and economic life. Concrete action, not aspiration, is what this commitment demands. Under the 9th National Socio-Economic Development Plan, Laopedia trained over 155,000 people through vocational and skill programs and facilitate employment for more than 464,000 workers domestically and abroad. The 10th NSEDP set a target of 50,000 vocational graduates and 411,000 employment placements, with digital skill development designated a national priority. 5 provincial centers now have operational 5G network, and the digital economy has been identified as one of 7 strategic growth sectors, ensuring that young Lao people can participate in and benefit from the economy of the future. On the women empowerment, Laopedia has achieved the fastest reduction in maternal mortality in ASEAN. The government has successfully implemented its 4 national plan of action on gender equality and is finalizing its 5th plan. Notably, the recent general election returned 29.71% of women to the National Assembly, and women now hold 27.27% of ministerial positions in the new cabinet, reflecting Laopeda's concrete commitment to women's meaningful participation in political and public life. Women are central to Laopeda agro-processing, SME, and tourism sectors, and ensuring their equal access to skill, finance, and decent work is not a side commitment. It is a development imperative. Laopeda carry a distinctive burden, the legacy of unexploded ordnance, which continue to cause casualty and disabilities across our community, particularly in rural areas. Youth sexual caring is therefore not only an environmental priority, but a social protection and disability right issue. In parallel, the government had adopted a national strategy on older person and a first national action plan on right of person with disability, ensuring dignity, care, and continued participation across all age. Mr. Chair, advancing a society for all age requires sustained regional cooperation grounded in share evidence and genuine solidarity. Lavidia value ESCAP's role in supporting member states through knowledge exchange and capacity building, including through the ASEAN framework on active aging. We stand ready to work closely with our partners to ensure that no one is left behind. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is from Republic of Korea, Miss Lee Hee, Senior Deputy Director, International Cooperation Division, Minister of Health and Welfare. You have the floor. Thank you.
Good morning. It is blessed to be here on behalf of the government of the Republic of Korea. First of all, I'd like to express my profound gratitude to the Executive Secretary and ESCAP Secretariat for their dedicated effort in organizing this 18th second session. With unprecedented demographic shift, including rapidly aging society, many countries in the Asia-Pacific region are witnessing a rising need for fundamental innovations in the field of social security framework, healthcare system, and labor markets. As one of the world's fastest aging countries, the Republic of Korea is committed to transforming these challenges into an opportunity to foster an inclusive society that ensures prosperity for all generations. Building a sustainable and inclusive future requires us to promote meaningful social engagement throughout the entire life cycle. Accordingly, we are strengthening an integrated care model that links medical, nursing, and welfare services to support our seniors in leading healthy and active lives in their community. While reinforcing universal social security systems centered on health insurance and pensions, we are also pursuing reforms to secure long-term sustainability and intergeneration equity. And we are also expanding investments in the care and silver economies. By bolstering child care and long-term care systems, we aim to ease the burden of unpaid care work and facilitate women's economic participation. Moreover, we are promoting innovation in healthcare, age-friendly housing, and age-tech industry, recognizing the elderly as active economic actors rather than mere recipients of care. Amid this digital transformation accelerated by the development of AI, Korea aims to establish a reliable and secure AI integrated basic healthcare system based on data-driven policy, transparent data governance, and ethical standards. Such innovation should not benefit only a few. They have to embrace all countries and people from all walks of life in the region. As we believe that any single nation alone cannot resolve the public crisis of today, the Republic of Korea will remain steadfast in its commitment to collaborating closely with the international community to create an inclusive and sustainable society for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is from Philippines, Mr. Lolito R. Tacardan, Deputy Executive Director, Commission on Repopulation and Development. You have the floor. Thank you.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, the Philippines welcomes the theme of this session, which clearly articulates the profound and accelerating demographic shifts shaping our region and the agenda of leaving no one behind by advancing a society for all ages. As underscored in the panel discussion, Asia and the Pacific is undergoing a historic demographic transition characterized by increasing longevity, declining fertility, and shifting age structures. The Philippines reflects this trajectory. By 2028, older persons are projected to comprise 7% of our population, marking our transition into an aging society ahead of reaching high-income status. This compressed transition calls for anticipatory and integrated policy responses. In this regard, the Philippines emphasizes the adoption of a life course approach, one that recognizes that opportunities and vulnerabilities accumulate over time and must be addressed holistically across all stages of life. At the early stages of life, we continue to prioritize investments in health and human capital development. Through sustained implementation of the Responsible Parenthood and Reproductive Health Law and the Universal Health Care Act, we are expanding equitable access to essential health services, particularly for women, adolescents, and underserved communities. These efforts are aligned with the report's call to strengthen preventive and life course health systems to ensure longer and healthier lives. For the working age population, the Philippines is advancing policies to adapt to the evolving future of work. We are strengthening technical vocational education, promoting lifelong learning, and investing in digital skills to address persistent skills gaps and improve productivity. Recognizing the continued prevalence of informal employment in the region, we are intensifying efforts toward labor formalization and expanding access to inclusive social protection systems. We are also underscore the importance of labor mobility and social protection portability, with millions of overseas Filipino workers contributing to economies and care systems across the region. Ensuring adequate and portable social protection is both a national priority and a shared regional responsibility. This is consistent with the call to strengthen cross-border cooperation in social protection and labor governance. On the gender dimensions of aging, the Philippines notes with concern the cumulative disadvantages faced by women across life course. Filipino women tend to live longer but face greater economic insecurity in later life due to unequal access to employment opportunities, social protection, and persistent unpaid care burdens. In response, we are advancing gender-responsive policies, expanding maternity protection, and promoting investment in the care economy as a critical enabler of women's economic empowerment. For older persons, the Philippines supports the reframing of aging as an opportunity rather than a challenge. We continue to strengthen income security through social pensions and to promote age-friendly environments and community-based care systems. At the same time, we are fostering opportunities for older persons to remain active contributors to economic and social life, consistent with the concept of the silver economy. In line with this, we are grateful to have partnered with ESCAP in convening stakeholders in the first ever National Consultation on Aging to assess policy gaps, map our institutional readiness, and prepare for the fifth review and appraisal of the Madrid International Plan of Action on Aging. We further recognize the central role of data and evidence informing policy. The Philippines is strengthening age disaggregated data systems and advancing analytical tools, including national transfer accounts, to better capture intergenerational dynamics and support evidence-based decision-making across the life course. Excellencies, the Philippines fully supports the call for people-centered, evidence-based, and forward-looking policies. Advancing a society for all ages requires coherent, integrated approaches across labor markets, social protection, health systems, and the care economy. We likewise underscore the importance of regional cooperation in addressing shared demographic challenges. We call on ESCAP and member states to further strengthen collaboration in three key strategic areas. First is enhancing demographic foresight and data systems, advancing universal and portable social protection, and promoting investments in the care and silver economies as drivers of inclusive and sustainable growth. In closing, the Philippines reaffirms its commitments to a right-based, inclusive, and life course approach to development, ensuring that every individual is empowered at every stage of life and that truly no one is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is from Singapore, Mr. Mark Chang. Deputy Director, International Organization Directorate, Minister of Foreign Affairs. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to make the statement on behalf of Singapore on this very important subject. Asia and Pacific is undergoing a demographic transformation unlike any other in recorded history, aging faster than previous transitions elsewhere. By 2050, 1 in 4 people in our region will be over 60. The implications of this on our economies and social compact are profound. Pressure on pension systems, care infrastructure, and labor markets across diverse economies. At the same time, our region is home to the world's largest youth population, with more than 700 million young people aged 15 to 24. This is therefore a call to action as much as a warning, one that requires intentional policy design, regional solidarity, and a fundamental shift in how we think about aging. Leaving no one behind means ensuring that dignity and access to opportunity are not diminished by the number of years they have lived. Singapore began confronting population aging 8 decades ago, and we have learned that there is no single silver bullet. We have adopted a holistic approach to enable people to age with dignity, agency, and peace of mind. This is especially pertinent as 20% of Singapore's citizens were aged 65 and above in 2025, and this is expected to grow to 25% by 2030. We have invested in lifelong learning through our Skills Future movement, providing every Singaporean with resources to reskill and upskill across all stages of life, because learning does not retire, even if a person does. More than half of eligible Singaporeans have utilized their Skills Future credits since the initiative was introduced in 2015. We have reformed retirement and re-employment frameworks to keep older workers economically active and socially connected for longer, if they choose to. We have built age-friendly infrastructure from barrier-free public spaces to senior care hubs embedded within communities, so that aging in place with dignity becomes possible. And we are fostering intergenerational solidarity. Programs connecting young and old in schools, workplaces, and neighborhoods are not just social niceties. They are how we build the compact that sustains a society for all ages. We do not claim to have all the answers, but we are keen to share our experience and learn. Singapore supports ESCAP's work on active aging and calls for focus on 3 concrete priorities. First, on data, a regional benchmarking framework building on the Active Aging Index to help members track age-inclusive policy performance. Second, on peer learning, we encourage more structured exchanges among economies navigating similar demographic pressures to scale-tested solutions. And third, on integration, we encourage mainstreaming active aging across ESCAP's work, including digital transformation, labor markets, gender, disability, health, and SDG voluntary reviews, so that an aging lens is built in, not bolted on. The SDGs call on us to leave no one behind. In Asia and the Pacific, we cannot meet that promise if we leave our elders behind or fail our youth. Singapore stands ready to work with ESCAP and all members toward this goal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is from United Kingdom, Ms. Bethany Milburn, UN Development Systems and Multilateral Policy Team Leader, Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The United Kingdom welcomes the focus of this year's Commission session on leaving no one behind, advancing a society for all ages in Asia and the Pacific, a principle that lies at the heart of the 2030 Agenda and resonates strongly across the diverse societies of the Asia-Pacific region. By drawing on UK expertise and promoting gender-led investments, and by backing locally led solutions, including women's funds in this region, we aim to help build resilient systems that can deliver inclusive growth, social protection, and opportunity for people of all ages. Domestically, last year, the UK introduced the Employment Rights Act, which recognised the right to paternity leave from day one and bereavement leave for pregnancy loss, tackles unfair dismissals and sexual harassment, particularly for women, and targets 0 hours contracts This act was a result of hard-won campaigns by many activists and an important step for future generations. Gender equality is central to our development and diplomacy. We reaffirm our unwavering determination that all women and girls have the right to live free from violence, discrimination, and oppression, and to participate fully in economic, political, and social life. Since the Beijing Declaration and the International Conference on Population and Development Programme of Action, progress has been real and transformative. Yet that progress is under threat. We are witnessing a troubling backlash and an anti-rights movement, with hard-won gains slowing or reversing, and with women and girls facing persistent violence, legal discrimination, and new forms of harm, including online abuse and AI-enabled exploitation that know no borders. No society can be just or prosperous if half its population is excluded. We call on all member states to resist this rollback and to act collectively to prevent and respond to violence against women and girls, and to ensure women's meaningful participation in decision-making, and ensure all women and adolescents have agency over their own lives and futures and control over their own bodies. Many countries across Asia and the Pacific are experiencing rapidly aging populations, increasing the demand for inclusive labour markets and sustainable care systems. The UK is proud to be supporting UN Women's Transform Care Initiative Asia Pacific. We are promoting partnerships that drive global efforts to recognise, reduce and redistribute unpaid care work and reward and represent paid care workers. We have also long been working to generate evidence around decent work and women's economic empowerment. Through the ASEAN-UK Women's Economic Empowerment Collaboration, we are working with the International Trade Centre, She Trades, to support women entrepreneurs. This includes facilitating business engagements through an institutional strengthening programme for the ASEAN Women's Empowerment, the Women's Entrepreneurs Network. Leaving no one behind must also mean advancing disability inclusion. We must never forget that 1.3 billion people living with disabilities worldwide are the most marginalised. That is why the UK is embedding disability inclusion across our partnerships, promoting accessibility, strengthening data, and supporting meaningful participation. And we look forward to participating in ESCAP's working group later this summer. The United Kingdom stands ready to work with ESCAP and its members to translate shared commitments into action, delivering inclusive, resilient, and equitable development across the Asia-Pacific region. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is from Russian Federation, Ms. Natalia Kuleba, Principal Counselor, Department of Development and Mass Media and International Cooperation, Ministry of Digital Development, Communication and Mass Media. You have the floor. Thank you.
Уважаемый господин председатель, уважаемые коллеги, формирование общества для всех возрастов и категорий населения является одной из важнейших национальных целей развития России на перспективу до 2036 года. Мы убеждены, что в современную цифровую эпоху реализация подобной цели невозможна без обеспечения равного доступа к цифровым благам. За последние годы в Российской Федерации по этому направлению был достигнут ряд существенных успехов, о которых мне хотелось бы поговорить далее. Сегодня 130 миллионов россиян активно используют интернет. Это свыше 93% населения страны. С 2021 года дополнительно почти 1 800 000 человек в малых населенных пунктах от 100 до 1000 человек получили возможность пользоваться современными услугами связи. В 8000 пунктах появился доступ к мобильной связи, а в 11 000 пунктах предоставлен бесплатный доступ в интернет. Помимо физической возможности пользоваться услугами связи, мы считаем критически важным поддерживать развитие необходимых навыков и компетенций у всех категорий населения. Для старшего поколения действует проект «Азбука интернета», который за последний год помог более 50 000 пожилых людей освоить необходимые цифровые навыки. Более 75 тысяч школьников старших классов и студентов в колледже бесплатно изучают программирование, робототехнику и основы искусственного интеллекта в рамках проекта «Код будущего». А более 250 тысяч ребят уже завершили такие курсы. В 45 регионах России действуют 72 региональные инициативы по повышению цифровой грамотности и кибергигиены у разных категорий населения. С 1 января 2026 года в силу вступила норма, в рамках которой аккредитованные IT-компании с доходом от 1 миллиарда рублей и численностью персонала более 100 человек обязаны отправлять не менее 3% сэкономленных на IT-льготах средств на развитие IT-образования. Планируется, что инвестиции IT-компаний в образование в 2026 году составят 10 миллиардов рублей. Господин председатель, Российская Федерация готова делиться накопленными знаниями и перенимать опыт у государств Азиатско-Тихоокеанского региона по повышению доступа к цифровым сервисам. С 2024 года Российская Федерация совместно с секретариатом ESCAP ООН, а также нашими региональными партнерами Казахстаном, Киргизией и Узбекистаном реализовала проект по цифровым государственным услугам для малых и средних предприятий с особым фокусом на доступность современных сервисов. В рамках проекта был проведен анализ текущей ситуации с доступностью госуслуг для предпринимателей, в особенности в сельской местности, разработаны общие подходы к созданию новых услуг, согласована методика оценки зрелости услуг. Хотели бы поблагодарить за поддержку и за направление высокоуровневых делегаций на региональный круглый стол, который состоялся в Санкт-Петербурге в августе 2025 года. Планируем продолжение указанного проекта и в 2026 году, в этот раз уже с упором на услуги для граждан, в том числе проживающих в отдельных и сельских территориях. Рассчитываем на продолжение плодотворного и успешного взаимодействия на площадке ESCAP. Благодарю за предоставленное слово.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next speaker is from Fiji, Ms. Leba Salu, First Secretary High Commission of the Republic of Fiji to Malaysia. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, Fiji thanks the Secretariat for convening this timely discussion on advancing inclusive societies for all ages. Fiji approaches society for all ages through a life course lens, ensuring that children are protected early in life, youth transition into meaningful opportunities, women participate fully in the economy and leadership, persons with disabilities have equal opportunities, and older persons live with dignity and remain active and connected in society. We have a large and growing youth population alongside increasing longevity. These changes are happening alongside climate pressures, migration, and economic shifts. So the challenge for us is not just about numbers, it's about how we design systems that work for people at every stage of life. As reinforced during the Commission on the Status of Women's 70th session, demographic resilience must be grounded in rights, justice, and inclusive participation, ensuring that women and girls are able to fully access opportunities and protection across their lives. Chair, for Fiji, women are at the center of demographic change. They are workers, caregivers, and leaders, but they also carry a disproportionate burden of unpaid care work and are more likely to face economic insecurity later in life. Addressing this is essential not only for gender equality, but for inclusive growth overall. At the same time, young people are one of our greatest strengths. We see them as drivers of innovation and resilience, especially in areas like climate action and the digital economy. And as our population ages, we are placing increasing emphasis on supporting older persons, not just as beneficiaries of care, but as contributors to families, communities, and the economy. Ensuring dignity, inclusion, and adequate social protection is a key priority. Chair, children are also central to this conversation, and if we don't invest in their protection and development now, we risk reinforcing inequality across generations. Some of Fiji key policy priorities and action include strengthening the care economy and recognizing care as essential social and economic infrastructure, advancing women's economic empowerment through the implementation of the Women's Economic Empowerment National Action Plan 2025-2030. We are also expanding social protection across the life course, particularly for older persons, persons with disabilities, and vulnerable children through national schemes such as the Social Pension Scheme, the Disability Allowance Scheme, and Care and Protection Scheme. We are also investing in skills and digital literacy to prepare our workforce for the future, while continuing to strengthen systems to prevent violence against women and girls and improve access to justice. Chair, to conclude, Fiji remains committed to leaving no one behind, and at any age or stage of life. Fiji believes inclusive societies are only possible when children are safe and supported, young people are empowered, women and girls can fully participate, persons with disabilities are able to participate equally without barrier, and older persons are able to live with dignity and security. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is from Turkey, Ms. Neslinur Tekvazkan, Third Secretary and Deputy Permanent Representative to ESCAP. You have the floor. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. The Second World Summit for Sustainable Development, held in November last year in Doha, took place at a critical juncture. In the midst of complex and interconnected global challenges, the summit provided an important opportunity to promote inclusive social development and advance well-being for all. Building on the legacy of the 1995 Copenhagen Summit, it reaffirmed our shared commitments to social cohesion, poverty eradication, and full and productive employment while adapting these goals to today's realities. Excellencies, without international solidarity and strong social harmony, progress towards the 2030 agenda will remain out of reach. As we have already raised yesterday, in this regard, Turkey places social development at the heart of its national priorities. Our current 5-year National Development Plan envisions a stable, strong, and prosperous Turkey that is eco-friendly, resilient to disasters, produces high added value based on advanced technology, and committed to fair income distribution. A strong family, as a cornerstone of social development, is a key pillar of this vision. To this end, Turkey has introduced targeted measures to support young families. These include interest-free loan programs for newlywed couples, increased birth assistance payments, and strengthened childcare services. Distinguished delegates, the global sustainable development financing gap now exceeds $4 trillion annually, disproportionately affecting developing countries. The 4th International Conference on Financing for Development provided an opportunity to renew global commitments. Calls for reform of the international financial architecture are increasingly voiced across all fora. International financial mechanisms must be aligned with development priorities. The UNDP's Istanbul International Center for Private Sector in Development mobilizes private sector expertise in innovation, finance, and entrepreneurship. Excellencies, Turkey stands ready to share its experiences and best practices, both bilaterally and multilaterally, in support of our common goal of building inclusive societies for all ages. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next speaker is from UNFPA, Ms. Kathleen Taylor, Deputy Regional Director, OIC. You have the floor. Thank you.
Excellencies and distinguished delegates, we meet at a time of profound transformation, economic uncertainty, geopolitical tensions, pressure on multilateralism, and pushback against the rights of women and girls. At the same time, climate change, inequality, and demographic shifts are reshaping our societies. In Asia and the Pacific, nearly 1 in 7 people is age 60 or older, and that share will double by 2050. This is not simply a story of aging, it is a story of societies changing and whether we can turn this transformation into an opportunity. Behind every demographic trend is a human story. An older woman without access to care, a young person seeking decent work, a mother navigating climate shocks. Demographic change is ultimately about people, their dignity, choices, and potential. At UNFPA, this is central to our work. Through our focus on demographic resilience, we support countries with data, population analysis, and tools such as national transfer accounts to inform policies that strengthen human capital across the life course. For older persons, this means promoting healthy and active aging, age-responsive social protection, and recognizing the vital contributions older persons make through care, work, and social capital. For young people, it means investing in education, skills, and decent jobs so demographic change can yield opportunity and not exclusion. Throughout the life course, sexual and reproductive health and rights and freedom from gender-based violence are fundamental. When women and girls have agency, are protected, and empowered, they contribute fully to families, economies, and societies. This is foundational to demographic resilience. Yet too often, those furthest behind face the greatest barriers. This is not only morally unacceptable, it is a profound loss of human potential. That is why UNFPA remains committed to advancing sexual and reproductive health, addressing gender-based violence, and supporting forward-looking population aging policies while working with governments, partners, UN agencies, including ESCAP, to deliver integrated solutions at scale. Excellencies, at a time of unprecedented shifts, our response has to be rooted in solidarity, collaboration, and political courage. The coming year is particularly critical as the Asia-Pacific region holds the chairmanship of the 60th session of the Commission on Population and Development, led by Tajikistan. This offers an opportunity to strengthen commitment through unwavering political leadership, progressive policy action, and dedicated resources. Yet commitments alone are not enough. We have to translate them into evidence-based action so that every woman and girl at every age can flourish. Together, let us turn vulnerability into strength and demographic change into resilience. Let us build a society for all ages, fairer, more inclusive, and one where no one is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is UNEP, Ms. Eugene Kim, Senior Program Management Officer, United Nations Environmental Program, Asia and the Pacific Office. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. UNEP welcomes the focus of this year's Commission on Leaving No One Behind. Asia and the Pacific is central to the world's economic future, but it stands on the front line of the triple planetary crisis: climate change, nature and biodiversity loss, and pollution and waste. How we respond now will determine not only whether we meet the SDGs, but whether we do so in a fair, inclusive, and lasting way. At the 7th UN Environment Assembly, UNEA 7, in December 2025, member states adopted the Ministerial Declaration and committed to bold actions to deliver sustainable solutions to the triple planetary crisis and to promote just transition pathways and sustainable consumption and production. A just transition must be at the heart of our work, shaping energy transformation to protect people, create decent jobs, reduce inequality, strengthen resilience, and ensure that no country, no worker, and no community is left behind. This aligns with the outcome of the 13th Asia-Pacific Forum on Sustainable Development, where UNEP, together with UN ESCAP, co-led the SDG 7 Roundtable, emphasizing action for a just transition anchored in human rights, equity, and community participation. Women, youth, children, indigenous peoples, persons with disabilities, and other marginalized groups are disproportionately affected by environmental crisis and remain underrepresented in decision-making. Integrated approaches are required, combining skills, finance, social protection, and social dialogue, as reflected in the ILO guidelines for a just transition. For UNEP, this means supporting countries to turn ambition into implementation, aligning national development and climate plans with environmental sustainability, advancing circular economy and pollution control, protecting nature as infrastructure for resilience, and ensuring that decarbonization delivers social protection, skills, and opportunity. As co-chair of the Regional Issue-Based Coalition for Climate Ambition, we look forward to pursuing these goals with UN ESCAP and other UN partners, a one UN approach in the spirit of the ongoing UN 80 reform process. Let us ensure that the green transition becomes a just transition, advancing equity, inclusion, and implementation for present and future generations. Environmental action and economic inclusion can and must advance together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is G7 Plus, Mr. Helder da Costa, General Secretary, G7 Plus Secretariat. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, it is an honor to speak on behalf of the Group of 7 Plus, an intergovernmental organization of 20 countries, at this 82nd session of ESCAP. Leaving no one behind has been a goal that forms the foundation of the G7 Plus group, whose members have experienced decades of conflict and instability that reshape the demographics of nations in ways that can last for generations. Our member countries in Asia Pacific, namely Afghanistan, Timor-Leste, Solomon Islands, and Papua New Guinea, have experienced a series of challenges, such as climate change, mass displacement, where people are forced to flee their homes, becoming internally displaced or refugees abroad. For example, around 10 million people have been forcibly displaced due to instability and decades of wars in Afghanistan. Conflict produces a severe loss of human capital, creating a lasting brain drain that weakens institutions and slows recovery long after peace returns. The impact of conflict and instability is not only physical, it is psychological. These psychological wounds are often transmitted across generations, shaping the life of children born during or after conflict. Advancing a society for all ages demands context-sensitive approach, and that requires solidarity and cooperation. As the new chair of ESCAP, His Excellency Minister of Foreign Affairs of Azerbaijan mentioned in the opening session of ESCAP yesterday that no country can alone tackle the increasing challenges faced by our region. It requires solidarity and cooperation to achieve resilience. In this context, allow me to propose 3 policy recommendations. First, sustained peace and stability remain a cornerstone for the noble cause of leaving no one behind. Therefore, ending conflict through reconciliation, psychological healing, and restoration of social trust are essential to ensure well-being and development. Second, in conflict-affected countries, community and extended family networks remain the backbone of support, helping to sustain and distribute well-being in the absence of strong formal systems. These networks range from caring for vulnerable individuals to provide financial assistance across households through interest-free loans, remittances, and other informal support mechanisms. These systems should be recognized in national policies and international financial regulations through measures that facilitate and reduce the cost of remittance flows. Third and final, demographic shifts particularly the growth of youth population in G7 plus countries, present immense potential that must be fully realized. This requires strategic investment in quality education, strengthened health systems, skills development, and employment creation. Such investments are essential to harness this demographic dividend and should be seen as a form of long-term insurance for ensuring that no one is left behind. Ladies and gentlemen, strengthening these foundations is therefore essential to ensure dignity and security for all. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Now, would any other delegations like to take the floor under this agenda item? I see none. So this concludes our deliberations under agenda item 3. I'll now close the list of speakers for the morning. Country interventions under the agenda item all resume this afternoon at 14:30 hours. Just before we break, may I call the Secretary of the Commission to make an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Still very good morning, and again welcome to this very important session of the Commission to discuss the theme topic. So please allow me to share with you a few pointers for your kind attention, please. So number one is election, a reminder to all distinguished delegates that are not yet to cast their votes for the Governing Council of the Asian and the Pacific Center for Technology of Transfer. The elections are currently underway, and distinguished members may cast their vote until 13 hours in Conference Room 1. The results will be announced on Friday, 24th April, under Agenda Item 9, Other Matters. The second is on the side events that is going to be organized today. I'd like to inform and remind delegations that today there will be a number of side events hosted by our member states and partner entities. The side events for today are shown on the screen and are listed on the Commission webpage. These side events are open to all participants, and details of these side events are also on the Commission website. And point number 3, regarding the evaluation of our Commission session, as mandated by Commission, the Secretariat provides delegations with the opportunity to assess the results and quality of session through a feedback questionnaire. In this connection, we'd like to request each participant complete a brief online survey. That link available on the Commission's webpage under the Overview tab. You will also see signage at the entrance of the conference room and in front of the escalator on level 1, providing the link to the survey and the QR code. The same information has also been provided to your delegation through your liaison officer. Your feedback will help improve the quality of our services and support to the delegations. Thank you really for taking this time and to provide us with most valuable feedback with appreciation. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary of the Commission. Now, at this time, we shall break and reconvene this afternoon promptly at 14:30 hours to continue the discussion under agenda item 3. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.